Good morning and welcome to the Hive on Newland Avenue. Today we have Malcolm in from the Hull Money Man, a local expert we've been working with for several years now, coming to talk about mortgages. Good morning, Malcolm.
Hi, Jen. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again. So just tell us a little bit about your company, please, Malcolm.
So we're mortgage brokers. Been doing the job now for 23 years, so that's kind of seen a few of the cycles, the peaks and the troughs. Tricky end to 2019, but we're starting the new year with a bang. And my job really is to find the most suitable mortgage for customers that are looking to get onto the property side for the first time and buy-to-let investors as well.
And why would you suggest that somebody uses a broker? What's the benefit for people coming to you to use your services?
Yeah, so historically, roughly 50% of people go directly to banks and 50% to brokers, but a bit of regulation changed off the back of the credit crunch in 2014. And now everyone that takes out a mortgage needs to take advice. And since that bit of regulation changed, about 75% of people come and see people like myself rather than going directly to the banks. If you go directly to the bank, they can only offer you their products, where brokers have the scope to look at a wider selection of lenders and hopefully come up with a cheaper deal for you.
Yeah, well, you certainly helped me 4 years ago, and I was very happy with the products you helped me to find, and the whole actual system of it. You know, the complication of the paperwork. You just really took the stress away. So I can definitely recommend you from a user point of view. Absolutely. So we've already said there's a lot of improvement to the market. So a lot of people may be sitting at home and thinking, do you know what? Shall we move this year? We've had the election out of the way and it's a positive start to the spring, so we're getting interest through the door. So if somebody's thinking of moving and thinking of looking at their first mortgage or changing to the next property, going up that ladder, what's the first thing to sort of consider from a mortgage point of view, and how would they make that contact?
Yeah, so I think there is a lot of pent-up demand in the market. So there's a natural slowdown towards the end of the year. So this is obviously January 2020, start of a new decade. So there's a natural slowdown every December anyway. That slowdown started to happen much earlier last year because the election got called and there was another Brexit deadline. So the market slowed down much sooner than it normally would do. But the signs are really good for 2020. That there was an outcome for the election with a majority for this government, and people seem to be, touch wood so far anyway, looking like 2020 could be their year to move. So if customers are in that situation where they may be renting or they've put off moving for a few months or a few years, the first thing to do is check their eligibility, and that boils down to two things really. It's credit profile and affordability. Okay, so you can go online and check your credit rating for free, and then contacting someone like ourselves to do an affordability assessment, which we do for free for you to calculate your maximum borrowing capacity. From then on, if you've got something to sell, it's to contact the likes of yourself, Joe, to try and get the evaluation on the current property, or going on the portals to see what's out there on the market within that agreed price range.
Yeah, so you'd look at somebody's existing mortgage, and if they're looking at that next sort of step up property, giving them advice on that stepping stone up and change of mortgage, which is how you helped me really, was to sort of look at my current mortgage, consider my sale, and then get the next mortgage deal, which really was surprising on the rates. They were excellent.
And that's a good point at the moment. So lenders are sitting on, for various reasons, more cash at the moment than they normally would have, off the back of some other regulation, and they had to separate their retail banking from their investment arms. So they're sat on more cash than normal. So as we speak, 5-year fixed rates are coming in less than 2%, the cheapest rates that I've ever seen in 20 years doing the job. So that's not to say that rates won't go even lower.
Yep.
It's possible, but as we sit here, the deals that we're looking at, if you compare when I started, interest rates were 7 or 8%, we're now in the ones and the twos. It's just phenomenal. There's never been a cheaper time to borrow money if that's really what you want to do and move house.
And are those rates coming in at good fixed terms as well? Are they sort of 2, 3, 5-year fixes?
Yeah, so traditionally people have erred for the 2 years, but because the rates are so low, there's been a big switch over to the 5-year fixed rate to take advantage of the rates while they are at these levels.
Yeah, that gives families a really, and anybody looking, doesn't it, some real sort of positive thinking of thoughts. So for the investor market then, or the buy-to-let market, landlords are going through quite a lot of different changes with regulations, etc., which we are helping on our lettings team from Hull to Let, getting landlords onto that platform and sorted out in the legal situation. So from a mortgage point of view, for a first time landlord, you know, they're still coming through the doors asking for our advice. From a mortgage point of view then, what are the lenders thinking on the buy-to-lets?
Yeah, so obviously over the last few years landlords have been hit from all angles in terms of regulation changes, tax changes, what you can and can't offset against your tax liability, but it doesn't seem to have put off the professional investor. Those have continued to buy. What we see less of now is people perhaps letting out their current house, the only house that they own, in order to buy a new one. Those are what we call let to buy landlords.
Yeah.
But the market, believe it or not, has it's held its own. The rates are low. There are some bargains to be had out there on properties as well, and people trust property. We have I think an obsession as a nation with property ownership, and for people who don't want to expose their savings to the stocks and shares and things like that, then property always remains a viable investment, and we're still getting first-time landlords despite all these changes that the government have made over the last few years.
Yeah, absolutely. It is still a really good way to invest your money. And what about landlords who've maybe got an existing portfolio? Would you sort of have a look at their current mortgages and give them a bit of an MOT, if you like, and could you offer that as a service to sort of, you know, crunch their figures, change what they're doing and potentially sort of improve their returns by reviewing that for them? Is that something you could do?
Yeah, so lenders offer sometimes what's called a product transfer. So if you're on that lender's standard rate of interest, then you can sometimes swap within that lender. Obviously, they don't always advertise that. You sometimes have to go and do a little bit of digging to see if you can get a better deal from that lender. And if those properties have gone up in value, if you've got a good bargain and improved it and owned it for a few years, then you might have built up some equity. You can potentially remortgage, take some of that equity out, and to go towards funding your next investment.
Because what we do with our landlords as well is sort of look at what they're thinking of with their cash capital. Look at the mortgage availability. I've worked with yourself and Wayne to then get the best returns from their initial investment, because a lot of people come and think, you know, they've just got 100,000 and we talk about splitting it and looking at the mortgage products. So it may be that they come with one product and they actually end up with two houses and two products, and that seems to be something that is quite viable as well.
Yeah, because on the lower value properties, and obviously where we are in Hull, you know, the yield can be really good on those properties around about the sort of 50 to 80,000 mark, and yeah, that's it diversifies as well, because then if you for example, if you had a void because you lost a tenant for some reason, if you bought two rather than one, then you've still got some rental income coming in to fund the mortgage payments. Yeah,
absolutely. I think that really sums up sort of you know, the private home buying and the landlord or investor home buying, and you've just got so much knowledge that, you know, somebody can come to your company and have that free consultation and just really sort of refresh their thinking. And also it could be people are sat there with an existing mortgage and they're not sure of when it's due for renewal. Just grab your paperwork, see if it's coming to its end, and just maybe penciling you in or having a chat, and then your team could sort of call them back, even if it's 6 months' time. They'd still do that for them, wouldn't they?
Absolutely, yes. So you can find our details on the website hullmoneyman.com, or on that Twitter profile MD_moneyman.
Brilliant. Well, I think that absolutely sort of rounds up our chat this morning. If we get any questions, you can obviously post them on the site and we'll forward them to Malcolm and copy them in so you can have a direct link. But I think if there's anything else you could sort of add in there, any other top tips, Malcolm, we can...
Yeah, I'm always a big believer in getting organised early, so there's no point going to view properties. On that point, actually, Rightmove is saying that since the election, which is just over a month ago, property prices rose 2.3%, which is the biggest rise since they started keeping their records in 2001. So it seems like there's a lot of activity out there. It might not just be you that's thinking of this, and you might well be in competition with other buyers. If that's the case, and you've got your mortgage agreed in principle, you've had your credit check done and your affordability assessed, that just might put you up in the pecking order if you're in competition with another family or individual wanting to purchase the same property that you've got your eyes on.
Absolutely, that is a really good top tip there, and definitely agree that on people who come in without mortgage advice, we do direct them to you. So great, that's lovely. I think we'll close there, and thank you for coming in, and we shall enjoy our coffee.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can have another chat another time and put some more information out there for our viewers.
Anytime, Joe, my pleasure.
Thank you very much, Malcolm.